Howdy.
And howdy, Mr. Robot. I didn't know who was going to say hi first, you or me. How are you doing? We missed you.
Yeah, I'm always busy with work, but I'm so glad I could get with you tonight and touch on some semi-interesting things to a small amount of the public. But as always, I love to utilize your skills, your psychic abilities, and all that. So, as usual, I have some interesting UFO stuff we could talk about.
Oh, really? Surprise, surprise. All
Surprise,
right.
surprise.
Where are you taking us tonight?
So I guess to start things off, there was a very interesting case that happened in Brazil, and it was in Colares, and people were essentially getting attacked by these laser beams, um, which is unfortunate. I can't be too biased and talk about only the good things. I want to also research some negative experiences as well, just for research purposes, I guess you could say. And I wish there was a really good photo. Maybe this. There's the military. I mean, everyone, the military, the government of Brazil research this, of course, as well. Maybe that might be the best source for us to pull in. If you could pull in, maybe if you could search the mental sphere of the Brazilian military and see if there's like an alien expert you can kind of pull in psychically.
Mm, I do. I do. It's a very small unit
Cool.
that investigated this, but I have them here.
Excellent. What did they think about the attacks that people experienced with the basically laser beams? Did they think they were foreign government, or did they think they were extraterrestrial?
Did you think that they were a foreign government? No, they're definitely extraterrestrial. Now, as you were talking about this, I tuned in and this really did happen.
Oh yeah. There, I really wish you can find this on Netflix and stuff. But oh, okay. Actually, check this out. This lady. So people were getting like a three dot. Oh, here it is. People were getting these burn marks because these
Oh,
laser beams were hitting people. And people were running away from their little villages, and these things were in the sky. Um, here's someone. Let's see if his name is there. Um, so this says Operation Prato, whatever that means. But a long story short, people in the area, um, let's actually dive into what was happening. If we can ask the person you're channeling, what they think was happening when they were getting these attacks.
what do you think that was happening? They're puzzled by it. They really don't know. That now, one theory is that they were trying to latch on to these people and beam them up to transport them, but obviously that did not work. Some of them were lifted up off of the ground. Now, I've never heard about this, so this is very interesting to me.
Yeah, so the reason why this is actually an interesting case is because it affected so many people over a large scope of time. These guys would be walking around and they'd be like, "Hey, don't don't go outside when it's lit when it's dark," because they would potentially get this laser beam shot at them. And I don't know if you can imagine how scary that would be, but sounds kind of terrifying. Um, and the witness reports are that it felt like blood was being drawn as the laser hit, but it was a very, very fast beam. So I mean, it's not like they were frozen in time or anything, but these things were chasing people on this area. So I just kind of wanted to probe it a little bit. Okay, so this person you have channeled, do they have any new insights into the case?
Do you have any new insights into the case? No, not really. It's always remained such a big mystery.
And this person, do they currently work in the government of Brazil?
We currently work in the government of Brazil. No.
Okay.
How long ago was this?
Oh, it was yeah, black and white time. Oh, it's probably here it is, 77.
Oh gosh. Yeah. No.
But they're alive, this
Are
person.
you alive? No.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's excellent. That's usually better for us. So if they're in spirit, what does their spirit guides and their friends in spirit think about this event as well?
What do you think about? This actually did happen. This is a true event. I feel like it happened over a period of time
Yeah.
and then it just suddenly stopped. And they don't even know why it started or why it stopped. They do believe that people were missing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting thing you bring up about happening over a span of time. Because some of the I mean, so basically from what I've read, the government perspective is yeah, there's these unidentified aerial phenomenon happening. What can we do about it? So they don't really form too much of an opinion about it because not much is ever really done. But the fact that they research it is what's actually interesting. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know terribly much about this. Here's a local witness describing what it looked like. There was a disc shooting
Oh
something,
my.
but I think this would be just this excellent segue into asking Bashar potentially what he thinks. And for the viewers who aren't aware, Bashar is an alien who lives, I believe, on Sasani, or he is a Sasani. I forgot what his planet is called.
US is Sony. It's a collective. So as we tap into Bashar, we know that Bashar is a collective of multiple alien beings. On the whole, generally okay. I don't use him as my go-to. They would love for us to do that. They would love for us to do nothing more than to sit here and tune in and channel aliens. And eventually they would try to convince you all that you're all from them and they're your God and blah de blah, and then you hijack your consciousness. So I have boundaries with aliens. So yeah, Bashar is here and Eridif is also here.
Perfect. Uh, I'm gonna go into my thoughts about both of them in a while, but let's ask Bashar just what does he think about this Brazilian alien moment called the Colares incident?
Think about it. It really happened. It was it's true. It's factual.
And I just want to confirm you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So what does Bashar think about I guess you could say witness reports? from Bashar's perspective, why were people getting essentially, let's just say, attacked by these discs?
Why were they getting attacked by these discs? What were they aiming to do? They were wanting to see if they could. Ooh, really? Let me double check this answer again. So you're saying to me that if they killed the body, they wanted to capture the soul as it was leaving the body. That is correct.
Okay, and let's do a little background research on the scenario. From Bashar's perspective, did anyone die from the, let's just say, UFOs?
Did anyone die? Multiple people.
Okay, so what were the findings by the aliens? Did they achieve their desired results?
Did they achieve their desired results? No, because as soon as the soul leaves the body, it is captured in a tunnel and it goes up to the spirit world. There's no way, as of yet, today, November 23rd, 2024, right? There's no way for them to hack into the soul technology and to be able to bring that soul with them.
And can Bashar identify which race was in those ships?
Mm, which race was in those ships? It's something that I certainly have never heard of, and it starts with like a PH. It has that sort of sound to it. Can you say it slowly? Almost like feline, feline. I've never heard of them.
Okay, so what's so interesting about what you're doing there is it obviously sounds like feline, a cat. Was it a cat race?
Was it a cat race? Along those lines, yes.
And the only reason I can mention something like that, which sounds probably about as bizarre as possible, is because Erudif channels he's actually channeled over 1,000 entities through Rob. And there are things that I didn't even think existed. For example, there's dog races, there are mantis, which I think people could kind of assume. There's also a bird race. So, this is kind of uh, a weird example where there could be correlation. Can we actually ask Erudif since he's here? And then, by the way, Erudif is a being from the Pleiades region. Um, I forgot what his background. You guys can Google it. But what does he think the race was?
He agrees with Bashar. He's calling them feline.
Okay. And from Erudif's perspective, how old is this race? How long have they been alive?
Millions and millions of years.
And then from Erudif's perspective, has this race that we're talking about achieved like higher than fifth density?
Have they achieved higher than fifth density? No,
What does Erudif think is holding them back from ascending through their densities since they've been alive for so long?
they don't have a soul. So were you saying that the only way you achieve ascension is with the soul? Yes.
How far away does Erudif think, and maybe you can ask Bashar as well, but how far do they think this race is from Earth? like this, like wherever they are.
How far away? Oh my gosh, they are like so far. Billions of light years away,
So what's
according to
interesting,
our time.
yeah, no, that's actually that's perfect. Um, but how did they know that we are here when they're so far away?
Hmm. How do they know that we are here when they are so far away? Everyone knows. Everyone knows about the earth. Everyone knows about what's on the earth, who inhabits the earth. We are the hot commodity in the universe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do know there's other human type races in the universe. Can we ask if the feline race has also been to those planets, looking at them as well?
Yes, it sounds I've been to other planets looking at them as well. I'm getting a no.
And I was listening to this physicist the other day who was looking into anti-gravity and actually a channel from Bashar. Um,
Hmm.
and it was a really cool as Bashar would say, co-creation. But anyways, can just real quick, since we're looking at his craft, can you ask Bashar if the ship itself represents one location in space, or if you have to look at every part of it as having a location in space for their craft to work?
Hmm. So is it just one location
Yeah.
in space?
Does
No.
the craft no?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so the bottom line of that channel was Bashar describing how anti-gravity works, and he said that as soon as our race realizes that every object has a um like so like you know you can measure something and it says, let's just say a rock, and it says like silicon and dioxide and whatever, that there's actually a measurement depending on where the rock is, that is a spatial time and place variable, and that anti-gravity works based on you being able to bombard an object with a new time and space variable, and that's what creates the ship to move up and down. Can you ask Bashar if that's accurate, what I just said?
Not entirely.
All right, well that's what he said. But what would Bashar fix in that statement if it's possible for you to relay it?
What would you fix in that statement? There's magnetic forces, okay? A lot of it has to do with magnets. Is it magnetic energy that we have here on the earth plane? No, but this is the best way to describe it.
So there's a like I guess it's I don't know if it's one video or whatever it is. It's on Netflix. It's this CIA guy talking about his past history, and he said that these crafts can go. I think he said like 30,000 miles an hour. Can you ask Bashar why they can go so fast?
Hmm. Um, can they go 30? They go faster than that. That's just like what we measure them at. They're faster than the eye can see.
Okay, yeah, no,
Hundreds of thousands of miles per hour.
yeah, I'm sorry. Uh, they're obviously able to travel faster than the speed of light, most likely. But I just mean, I guess you could say with atmosphere. So with air pressure on the Earth plane, are they pushing air? How can they go through the air so fast?
How can they go through the air so fast? Well, their energy. So he is it because their energy? Yeah, they don't actually go through the air with a physical craft, right? Because that would just be completely destroyed going through all the many layers that they're piercing through to get here. They travel energetically. They only manifest these things in physical form. Why? But why did they need to?
Well, you know what's interesting is I feel like what
Hmm,
we're catching on to is maybe while they move, maybe they're in energy form, and then maybe when they stop, maybe they become physical.
is it because when they stop, they become physical? For the most part, yes. Because I'm thinking, well, if they're just energy form, then why do they need to create a disk and manifest into physical form to shoot a laser beam? Because whatever this was they were using is just a form of energy as well. Hmm.
Okay, so
Why
that
did
was
they do
Bashar.
that?
Was that
Yeah,
Bashar
let
or Erdiv?
Bashar, why did they do that? Why do they need to be in physical form to shoot the laser? They do. Why? Ah, okay, here we go. Now we're getting some answers. Because in order to make this concentrated energy of a laser beam, they need to be able to contain that energy and allow it to build. So that's why
Physically.
they need this physical form, this physical structure. Now they manifested that, and therefore they allowed the energy to create some type of beam. Is it a laser beam that we know here on the Earth plane? No, no, this is completely different technology. And it really was trying to get the soul out of the body.
Dang. Yep. So this is one incident. There's other ones, and let's see here.
What is interesting to me is that they're not bound by the laws of the universe. Are they bound by the laws of the universe? No. So even if they were to harm another being in the universe, will they suffer karma for that? Yes. So, okay, how? So they would suffer karma, but why would they do that? Just as the light has karma, the dark also has a karma, karmic debt, karmic payback, but it's on a different level to the light karma. So,
Does their karma
excuse
move
me.
them lower, or maybe? Because ironically, I'm just wondering if bad karma for the dark makes them more light. You know what I mean?
Ah, that's a good question. So, does bad karma from the dark make them more light? Yes, it pushes them closer to the light.
That's so
So,
funny.
for instance, that was a good question. For instance, these aliens that were responsible for harming or killing people, they also did this with animals as well. Um, these aliens that did that, what would be their karmic retribution? So the light would push back. And then what would happen if the light pushes back? That shoves them deeper into the dark. So how do they end up getting shoved towards the light? That's when they go against the dark agenda and they're benefiting the light. So they get shoved closer to the light. I'm saying, but don't they want to be closer to the light? And in effect, a lot of them do. A lot of darkness, does the darkness have like a deep regret? Those that have been taken over to the dark side, do they regret it? Oh, absolutely, because their chances are done at that point, right? There's no more reincarnation. There's no more trying to get it right, perfection, growing your soul. There's no more ascension. So what happens when the soul crosses over into the darkness? Do they get to keep their soul, the consciousness? No. So that soul is ripped from the consciousness and it's like harvested.
Why would they want to do that?
Why would they want to harvest the soul? Because they're also trying to fuel their side of the equation, right? So it's dark and light. They're trying to keep the dark side going. And do the souls actually give off a lot of energy to the dark? Oh, yes, it does. They do. They do, but they keep them in some sort of storage bank. So what happens to the person that, or not the person, but what happens to that soul? Are they trapped? Do they have a voice? Do they have a consciousness? No, their consciousness is completely stripped. You cease to exist in as
Uh,
a
uh,
consciousness.
which which being were you just talking to, or
Bashar.
can you ask Bashar the difference between a consciousness and a soul?
What's the difference between a consciousness and a soul? They're completely separate things. The soul is like a storage facility, right? It has the ability to harness power. It has a direct connection to source. It has the ability to manifest itself into physical form.
Okay.
There's a lot of energy and power behind each and every soul. A consciousness is just a collective of energy. And can it self sustain? No, it cannot sustain itself. It wants to, but it cannot. The soul is self sufficient. Consciousness is not. It needs energy, it needs to be fed in order to sustain itself.
Can you ask on that note, if the pineal gland in a human brain is quote unquote the seat of the soul?
Is the pineal gland in the human brain the seat of the soul? No, it sits behind the solar plexus.
Okay, this is Bashar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we ask Erdif, what does the pineal gland have to do with our consciousness?
What does the pineal gland have to do with our consciousness? It controls a lot of our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our personality, our characteristics.
I mean, let me rephrase it. If you could ask Erdif, is the pineal gland a gateway between our three-dimensional self and our higher dimensional self?
Is the pineal gland a gateway between our three-dimensional self and our higher dimensional self? Is it? Yes, it is one of the gateways. Yes.
Can you ask if the heart is another gateway?
Is the heart another gateway? Yes. Anything, any chakra is a gateway. Um, what about other areas in the body? Not really so much.
Okay, what does Erediv Okay, first of all, can we ask Eric if aliens have chakras?
Oh, do aliens have chakras? No.
Oh, no, whatever. What does he think about the human root chakra?
What do you think about the human root chakra? It's one of the ways that the energy continues to spin. It's
Uh,
very possessive.
well, okay, let me put it this way. What does Eric think about if someone had an unbalanced root chakra? What does he think would happen to a person?
Which is happens. Or what happens to a person that has an imbalance in their root chakra? Well, they'll certainly feel it because the flow is not good. So there will be lots of obstruction.
Okay, so the next question is, why does Eric know this? How does he know that?
How do you know this? Because he studies human beings.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking about root chakra is because supposedly energy comes up from the ground, and then this is the first one, and then you got all the other ones. But so it goes down to up. But um what does Erudif think why we have chakras? Why do we have chakras?
Why do we have chakras? It's our direct connection to source. We need it for our energy, our life force energy.
Would Erudif say that our sickness as humans comes from having a blocked chakra?
Would you say that a lot of sickness in humans is because of a blocked chakra? Yes, and badly stored emotions and DNA alterations, modifications. It's a combination of things, but
I am
certainly blocked chakras do not help.
I am so glad you brought up DNA because DNA is such a fun topic in regards to our race. So let's actually ask Erudif real quick if we have about, roughly speaking, 9 alien DNAs in our DNA.
Ooh, do we have, roughly speaking, 9 alien DNA in our DNA? Um, they can certainly hook in. Do they have, do we have that in our DNA? I think there's elements of it.
Yeah, so our DNA has been modified. Can you ask Erudif if such a hard question to kind of wrap anyone's head around, but um for example, is his race's DNA uh implanted into our own DNA?
Is your race's DNA implanted into our own DNA? Is it present here on the Earth plane? No.
Well, let's just phrase it like this. How many different races of aliens does he think is in a typical human's DNA?
I think different races of aliens do you think are typical in human DNA? Um, very little.
So what's
Very
interesting
little.
is as the story goes, oh man, there's so much we could talk about. But as the story goes, we were basically modified back and forth, back and forth, back and forth by different alien species who thought that they were kind of doing the greatest good or doing what served, I guess you could say, the universe the best scenario. And I think it's about nine different species that affected us. But what's kind of depressing is the first few were just trying to make us kind of like servants, subservient,
Hmm.
which I kind of think might have been the pyramid era. But
Hmm.
um, can you okay, so this actual species is called a Yahyel. What does the sorry, what does Erudite think about the Yahyel?
What do you think about the y'all? Yo, he likes them.
Would he say that they are the first aliens to have ever talked to humans?
The first aliens to ever talk to humans. No.
Ooh, would he say the Draconians are the first to talk to humans?
What do you say, draconians are the first to talk to humans? Yes.
So, as a very small part of your viewership may know my videos, I like aliens, of course, but I definitely do not like the Draconians. So,
I don't even know who they are. Who are they?
well, what's so crazy is they have a lot of um power over the planet, and it really sucks. So let's just dive into that real quick. Can we ask Meredith? So let's just find a picture. Can you ask Meredith um why the Draconians have so much power over Earth?
Why did the draconians have so much power over Earth? They want to control Earth. It's all part of the hacking. They found better ways to hack in. They still can't get the soul, but they certainly hack in.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And I think I'll actually have to make that a different video. But why there's so much to ask about the Draconian race. So the Draconian race is very old. It's actually probably one of the oldest races in the galaxy, or I'm sorry, the universe. And they go planet to planet looking for people to suck the energy out of, I guess you could say. And I'm just wondering why does Erudif think no other aliens have helped us to get rid of them?
But other aliens helping us to get rid of them. Well, it's an ongoing war. They don't like them either.
Yeah, no, they're not great. And but they are very smart. They are very, very ancient. Probably one, I mean, so as far as Erudif would say, probably one of the most ancient beings in the universe. But they're based on power and they kind of suck the life out of whatever they come across to get power. And it's a bummer, obviously. But whatever. So uh two last things and I'll let you go. I know you're probably getting sleepy. Um, what does Erudif think about a quark?
What's a quark?
So when you look into an atom, You will see the molecules, the whatever. But in theory, I guess we kind of I think we're using theory at this point. If you look deeper, we don't have the microscope to help really, I guess you could say. But if you could zoom in further, you would see what's called a quark. Does Meredith think this is accurate?
I think this is accurate. Extremely.
Okay, so excellent. So what's so fun about this is one of Meredith's communications, you could call it, they mentioned that aliens uh have looked about 9 levels deeper into because like if you keep zooming in, you keep getting more information. So can you ask Meredith what is after a quark if you
After.
keep zooming in?
You can never get to the smallest fragment. With the human eye, yes, but this is never ending.
So what's really interesting about this is um one of the I think it was Treb, which is a he's actually a nice reptilian. I know you don't like him much, but but he said his race has found about 9 deeper levels after the nucleus, and their race ponders that our whole universe might be just a water droplet, like basically on a dog running in another universe. So it was just such an interesting idea that such an advanced race still doesn't even know the makeup of uh of life. So um can
This
we ask
goes on for millions. Like you're peeling layers off, you're splitting, you're getting smaller parts, smaller parts, smaller parts. It never ends. Do you ever break it down and there's nothing? No.
does whoever you're talking to, let's just say Meredith or Bashar, what do they think about string theory? Is it accurate? Our definition of string theory?
Is our definition of string theory accurate? No.
Ooh, that's cool. So our belief as humans is that after, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but after quarks, the human definition of below that is strings, and we think as the human race that we have these vibrating strings that make up what an atom is, very small on a very small scale. Um, maybe we're right about the vibration though. Can you ask Eric if we're right about the vibration?
The vibration, yes. But what about the strings, the strands? It's not, that's an oversimplification to call them a string.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's our limited IQ, and we don't have telescope. I mean, we don't have microscopes that go this deep. But it's just theoretical physics to describe this. But I just want to know what does Eric think the next like depth down is? What makes the strings?
Makes the strings. Energy.
And what's under that?
What's under that? More energy.
Ask him if there's a particular type that begets another type of energy.
Is there another shape or type or Even though we get down to the smallest piece, it goes far beyond that. Does it ever like go all the way into another universe? Yes, it can.
So it's really going to be interesting, I think, for our viewers at this point, since we're at this moment in time in our limited understanding, is if these strings have consciousness,
They do.
and what do they think about the universe?
What do you think about the universe? They just like gave me a chomping motion, like they were eating, and I'm saying, what on earth does that mean? These strings have, do you have limited consciousness? It's kind of like it's a piece of the puzzle,
Oh yeah.
but nobody has the full puzzle. Everybody has just a little piece, and they don't have the bandwidth to put the entire puzzle together.
Where do they think they came from?
Where do you think you came from? They just keep chomping at me. I have no idea
Like
why.
like Pac-Man. I think
Yeah. Do you know where you came from? No. Do you care? No, see, they just keep chomping. I don't know why they do that. Every time I ask them a question, it's like chomp, chomp. It doesn't make sense. I've never had that happen to me before.
well, these things are so much smaller than a mitochondria, so much smaller than a virus. Uh, for anyone's information, maybe one millionth the size. So, these are going to most likely be very simple beings. But what's very interesting is the fact that they create existence, and we are made up of trillions of these strings, and and everything all the way up, every microscopic level all the way up. It's micro till the micro, and it's just I guess we could say, let's actually take it this way. Do they have any concept of like geometry, like this thing right here?
Do you have any concept of geometry? Yes.
Let's actually pull in Erudif. What does Erudif think about these strings that you're talking to at the moment?
What do you think about these things that I'm talking to? They're evil.
Why would Erudif say that?
Why would you say that? Because these are the things that they cannot hack into. Are you stuck at this level? I feel like they are stuck at this level. So, hacking, what do you have to do? You have to hack through the firewalls, right? This is a firewall.
Ooh, what does Erudif think is lower or deeper than a string? These strings.
What do you think is lower or deeper than these strings? The code to the universe, the mathematical codes, the answers, every answer that you ever want to know about anything.
Does Erudif does Erudif think that we live in a what is it called? A holographic universe?
Mm. Do you think we live in a holographic universe? No, we live in a physical universe. They're holographic. We are not.
Okay, so the reason I ask about holographic is has a whole lot of information in the definition of holographic. So holographic means everything exists in a plane and it can be projected outwards, and it's kind of what some people think the universe is in general, or reality itself. Um, so
Let's
in
ask this question. Is reality holographic? It can be.
Okay, so on this note, then, can you ask why? So, like me and you, we both have certain types of abilities. How can you, like, let's just say, in Airdesk perspective, how can you tap into someone else's consciousness when they're like 3,000 miles away?
How can I tap into someone else's consciousness when they're 3,000 miles away? Because I develop an energy strand,
Yeah, so
but
it's yeah,
it's so quick. Like the speed that that strand must move at is
it,
amazing. Is it faster than the
it's oh,
speed of a UFO aircraft? No.
it's well, it's faster than the speed of light, though, I'd have to say, right?
Is it faster than the speed of light? Much faster. Yes.
Okay, so the reason I ask is because you can do your psychic connections, and I can do something kind of somewhat similar but with energy. And I am asking because I connected to Erudif on an energetic level, and basically, in layman's terms, gave him some Reiki. And I just want to know how many light years away he was when I did that.
Millions.
Um, what does he say about that experience that we had?
What do you say about that experience? It was amazing. And you extended some of your soul energy over to Erediff. So he was connecting with your soul.
I guess what I think is just really interesting is long story short, I study energy work, and if I think of someone, so like for example, I live in the United States, obviously, and I have like worked on people who live in Russia, and I can feel them instantly. I feel them relatively instantly, and it was the same amount of time for me to feel Erudif, but obviously he is
Mm.
so much farther away. Um, so is I just want to know if there's a certain science that is unstudied that we can tap into by learning about this energy work from Erida's perspective.
Is there a certain science that we can tap into? It hasn't been discovered yet.
But is that the nature of traveling so fast? Kind of like how we tap in, like you and me, like is that kind of how the future is? Is that how we travel so fast?
Is that how we travel so fast? This is very unique. Um, when you're using a physical body, obviously the travel is much slower.
Oh yeah. Well, oh man. Yeah, so long story short, I'm just wondering if okay, so like obviously me and you and other people like us, we're using parts of our brain that are unique, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just wondering if it's a certain type of science that we will learn about eventually.
Will they learn about this science eventually? No,
Wow.
no, because they have to believe it first. They don't even believe it.
Yeah, well, that's actually accurate. A good, I'll always fact check you. That's an accurate response from Meredith, I can tell you. But
Is it?
oh yeah,
Why?
100%. So it has to do with belief systems. You have to literally wake up. So this is what Meredith says. You have to wake up every day believing something and living that lifestyle. You will jump to a different reality that the reality aligns to your beliefs because from their view, there's infinite amount of realities and you will be on any string uh depending on your belief system. So when someone calls in, for example, and they say, how can I be more happy? They say, well, what is your belief system? And they'll ask you why you're sad. And that'll be another video, I guess we could say. But uh we're jumping through universes as we because it's we're higher dimensional beings.
Let's ask. That's a really interesting thing that you just said. A lot of people always want to manifest, but unless they firmly believe that they
Mhm.
can do it,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And I mean pure belief, not
Yep,
my
you have
conscious
to.
mind is going to try to convince myself that I'm powerful and I can do it and I believe, but actually there's a lot of blockages there. No. But
Yep.
if you actually believe that you are powerful to manifest something, that brings that manifestation to you.
Oh yeah, very good. You hit the nail on the head. So happy you said it like that.
Is belief more powerful than fear? Meredith believes so, but the strongest emotion on the planet is fear. The strongest emotion in the universe is fear. So, why do you think that belief is more powerful than fear? Because belief can overcome fear. Now, I think that's a bit wishful thinking, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't like the term belief. I would like to find evidence, you guess you could say. But uh so something I was trying to touch on a while ago when I asked Eric if we have about nine alien DNAs. The thing I was trying to basically talk about was so Eric said uh when you're dreaming, you're experiencing higher realms, and it's only because we have these multi-dimensional factors in our DNA. Otherwise, we wouldn't experience those things unless we were dead. So, we obviously all do experience very interesting things in our dreams, which kind of on his point, just to his point, proves that we are higher dimensional. Um, so I would love to probe that more.
Hmm. Is that why we're able to dream and go into different dimensions because we are multi-dimensional beings? Meredith believes so, but we have to detach our consciousness from this dimension.
Okay, wait, you know what? Let's there's obviously been a bias in this video of alien influence. Let's end on a human element. There is this guy, his name is Lee Carroll, and I think you could see my screen, hopefully. He channels this entity Cryon. Um, Me and you have actually both channeled Cryon a lot. Um,
I
can
was gonna
you,
say, I think I've seen him before.
yeah, can you connect to Cryon? So Cryon is I think a seventh dimensional being, roughly speaking, who talks to this guy. Can you connect to Cryon?
Cryon. Yes, I have Cryon here. Cryon is from the dark.
No, why do you say that?
'Cause it's true. It's something masking.
So, um,
Sorry. Did I just throw your questions out the window? Sorry about that. I don't know
well,
what he's channeling, but he's channeling an entity, and this entity, as helpful as these entities may be, it's still dark.
um, we've channeled Cryon in the past, and you said he was from light, which is where the confusion comes from. But
Oh, are you from the light? I used to be. I feel this thing has moved over into some sort of darkness. This is not a soul.
yeah, definitely not a soul. He's a just a thing, something.
Ah, okay, that makes sense because, a soul, once it's going through the dimensions, right? It doesn't actually, for the most part, ever go back down the dimension scale, right? So if you go into fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh, you're just continuing to graduate upwards. You don't slide backwards.
Yeah,
Because this thing does not have a soul, therefore it's malleable. It can move in between light and dark because it's just an entity, it's just a consciousness, it's an energy. So as I'm tapping into it now, it's dark.
dang. What is so that's so interesting. What inspired it to be dark?
It was pulled over to the dark, it's telling me. So that's another issue. Okay. Because it's an entity, it's a consciousness, it's an energy. It can be infiltrated by the dark and pulled over to the dark side. Souls, it takes a lot to manipulate and pull a soul over to the dark side. But just a ball of energy, oh, it can be totally infiltrated by the dark and pulled to the dark
Yeah,
side.
yeah, that makes sense. Very interesting though, because Cryon is always so nice and um
Um, yeah, but that's very typical. Dark can mask itself into whatever you want it to be.
oh, I have a better question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let's just ask Jesus. Besides Jesus, um, who does he think another good person is that we could talk to?
Who do you think
Just in
another good
general.
person is? Adam.
Okay.
Adam. And Eve? No, Adam, not Eve, but Adam.
I forgot the story, but is he the one that did the fruit of evil or
Yeah, Adam and Eve, the snake, the fruit. Yeah.
so oh, that is such a good like segue into another video eventually. So Adam actually exists.
Did Adam actually exist? They both did.
Cool. I think I think that's super awesome. I think we should totally have a video about Adam and Eve. I think that'd be awesome. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know
Oh,
it's
don't say
late.
that. That's okay. But so why does Jesus recommend Adam? Because he was the first experience of an evolved consciousness of a human being.
Can you ask if it was actually the apple tree or like if it was like a tree with a fruit, I should say?
Was it actually an apple tree? That was a good question. No, it wasn't actually an apple. It was a type of fruit uh that no longer exists on the earth plane. It is extinct. It's actually bitter tasting, but very nutritious. Hmm.
Well, you know, it's like kind of ironic that it's nutritious and has all the information that people want because people are more complex than just living kind of like naive lives. We want to know more than just what's good. We want to know what's evil, I guess you could say.
Hmm. Were they actually banished from the Garden of Eden? They were.
Oh, can you ask if that was a geographical area on the planet or if it was like a higher dimensional space?
Was it a higher dimensional space? No, it was a geographical location on the planet where lots of things grew. There was waterfalls and there was food and it was like pure peace, love, and joy. But I do feel it was a representation of the spirit world.
Can you ask, who are you talking to right now? Are you to Adam?
Jesus.
Can you ask Jesus if the earth looked like this? Was it Pangea? Pangea theory.
Was the earth a Pangea theory? At one time, yes, it was.
Why? Okay, let's ask I don't want to ask Jesus. Can you ask Earth why was the Earth looking like this? Why was there nothing on the other side? Why was it just water?
Why did the earth look like this? And why was there nothing on the other side? Was there anything on the other side? There were things on the other side. I feel a lot of volcanoes, but they've gone under the sea, under the
Okay.
ocean.
Yeah, totally. And on that note, what does Meredith think about hollow hollow Earth theory? Does he think there's anything that was living inside of the Earth at this moment in time, as we were at Pangea?
Is there a hollow earth theory? No, that's a false theory.
Well, uh, so on in our dimensional level, I think that's accurate. But can we ask Meredith to scan higher dimensions when he answers that question?
Can you scan higher dimensions when you answer that question? Okay. But it doesn't mean that it's on the earth. It doesn't mean that it's attached to the earth. I mean, anything is possible off of the earth in other dimensions.
Oh, for sure. I'm just wondering, let's just say from Meredith's perspective, like let's just say about fifth density, uh, are there beings living inside the earth, like in the fifth density?
There beings living inside the earth like in fifth density. I mean, there are energetic beings, yes, that can go and visit or live inside the earth. What is interesting is when you were asking me that question, and it's about when you're in the spirit world, you can manifest anything you want, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So, how do we find that part of us that can manifest? Because obviously there's a way to do it. That part, does that part of us ever leave the soul? No. The soul has that power to manifest whatever it wants. Now, it may be in etheric form, but surely if we're down here in a body, we can manifest using that part of us. Can we manifest anything in physical form? And there, that is a strong possibility. I got a yes on that. You have to find the part of you that can do it. Now, that's really locked and hidden away. But if you work on it hard enough, you can find it.
Can you ask if manifestation is relatively instantaneous when we're non-physical?
Is manifestation relatively instantaneous when we're non-physical? Immediate, immediate, faster than the speed of conscious thought.
So I would love to use that as a beautiful segue into why aliens can do what they do. Can do aliens make UFO ships because they're non-physical, like so quickly, or is that like a non-physical thing?
Is that how you make alien ships into physical so quickly? Yeah, they can manifest pretty much whatever they want. Hmm.
Hmm. Yep, very interesting. Oh, so obviously, I think someone out there in the public would be very sad if I didn't mention the Tower of Babel at this moment because of Pangea. Can we ask Jesus, uh, if the Tower of Babel is like an accurate, story?
Is that an accurate story? No.
Oh, okay. So from Jesus' perspective, people spoke different languages all over the whole planet, or was there a single universal language at one point?
Was there a single universal language? Yes, at one point there was a single universal language. Yes.
Yeah.
But as humans began to grow in number, as they migrated, they became different.
Mhm. And whoever you're talking to at that moment in time, was it looking kind of like this, the Pangea map of the Earth?
Was it looking, did it look like that? Pretty much, yes.
By the way, can you believe how big Africa is? Look at how small the United States is. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's so interesting. The Pangea, the Tower of Babel. Oh, can you ask Jesus why the Tower of Babel story came out?
Why did the story of the Tower of Babel come out? Because that's the human brain trying to understand and make sense of it all.
Oh, okay, so I didn't realize it was a biblical thing. Can we ask Jesus if other religions kind of think this, or is it just a certain religion?
Do other religions think this? I mean, there's different versions of it, different versions, different stories, but not really exactly the same. No.
Hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not a theologian. as some people might hope I am, but I don't study the Bible. I'm not terribly religious necessarily. I am spiritual, but I do think all these theories are valid. I think for instance, like the this looks like a Mesopotamia pyramid. Can we ask Bashar what he thinks about the Tower of Babel?
Do you think about the Tower of Babel? It's a conscious mind construct.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't
that's
want
further
yeah,
confirmation that,
yeah, I don't want to
yeah,
beat it. I don't want to beat it to death. I like cross examining um
right.
consciousness, you know. But I guess the last thing that I would love to touch on is, does Bashar think this is a real alien?
Do you think this is a real alien? No.
Okay, how about we put it this way? Does Bashar think we have any footage of a real alien for public view?
Do you think that we have any footage of a real alien for public view? No, because it can energetically vanish from the footage.
You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense compared to how the Bigfoot work because they're in a higher dimension. People say they see them and then they don't see them, and what happens is they actually drop their own energetic dimension, I guess you could say, and it causes them not to see it anymore. But I don't know. That's all I got for today.
That's it?
I could. I mean, I could
I'm
go for. I
teasing.
go for
I'm
years,
teasing.
but
That was great. Thank you. And we're so glad you're back. If anybody would like to contact Mr. Robot, you reach him at moongrass777 at, is it Gmail?
yep,
At
gmail.com.
gmail.com. That will be listed in the comment section. So this is great. You did a fantastic job. Well done. It's so nice to hear you again.
Oh, you know what? By
Wow.
the way, I realize we may not have talked about Ascension as much as we should have, but we can do that very soon.
I would love that. Thank you. And
Cool.
thanks everybody for listening. Wow. Excellent job.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.